Okay then guys, here we go with the Christmas cake 2021. I'm starting this outdoors because, unlike old matey boy with the big beard having a bath, what's his name, Archimedes, that's it, I don't have eureka moments, I have do-reka moments where I forgot to do something. And what I forgot to do was to soak the dried fruit in the brandy. So we picked this up outside. Couple 100 ml of brandy, over a kilogram of fruit, and a tub of glacé cherries. It says French brandy, but I don't know what other sort of brandies there are really. That'll do. And what we do then, we just give this a quick mixing every day. The next 3 days, get it all soaked in there. I'll do. Cover it over, keep it somewhere cool. Still can't get used to this stuff, I keep saying it, but no, I don't know. Perhaps I'm using it wrong, I don't know. Okay then, fast forward 72 hours. The brandy's soaked in nicely, been stirred every day just to get it mixed up. So the rest of the ingredients, they'll be down in the description below as usual. But here we go then, plain flour, molasses. I've had to use blackstrap molasses, which I wouldn't normally do. I'd normally use black treacle or normal molasses, but I'm countering that with some golden syrup. Flaked almonds, butter, a couple of oranges. I want the zest of 2 and the juice of 1. 4 eggs, some ground cloves, mixed spice and some ground cinnamon for that Christmassy taste. And not forgetting the sugar, muscovado, light or dark, doesn't matter. I had light, so that's what I'm using. Right, we need a 9-inch, 225mm cake tin, a deep cake tin for this one. And line the bottom, so you get your greaseproof paper, fold it into triangles. And gauge it to the centre. Eventually, there we are. Make a mark with your finger and cut it off. And that should be a circle about the size of your cake tin. Hey, magic! Hey, double line the bottom and triple line the sides. You can just line it or double line it and wrap newspaper around the outside if you want. I just triple lined it. So next up is get all the bits and pieces together. I need the zest of 2 oranges and the juice of 1. Blooming hard work zesting oranges, I tell you, they're quite big. Yeah, get the juice out of this one. Never seen this before. I've had rotten oranges. I've had oranges that have gone a bit stale, but look at that. It has some sort of worm inside it, eaten right through. Luckily, I had a second one. So, juice this one. Muscovado sugar. And like I said, I'm using light for this because that's what I've got in the cupboard. And the flaked almonds. The mixed spice. And the ground cloves. Now, be careful with ground cloves. Very overpowering. That's why I said 1/4 teaspoon. And the ground cinnamon. It's got to be ground cinnamon. It's Christmas. Woohoo! Normally I'd use black treacle or molasses for a Christmas cake, but I've only got blackstrap. Now blackstrap is quite bitter. So what I've done, I've countered this with a good dollop, a tablespoon of golden syrup, just to sweeten it down a little bit. My word, is this stuff sticky. Woo. Okay, measure out the flour, and I think we're almost there. The butter comes in 250-gram blocks anyway, so that's quite easy. Butter softened. Yeah, just so it's a bit squidgy. So let's get it all into the stand mixer. Sugar, eggs. Now I always crack eggs open one at a time. I've been caught out too many times in the past where I've done 3 or 4 together and the next one has been a bit iffy. So old school is the way I do it. So let's get things mixing. We just want to blend this lot together to start off with. There's a lot of butter, a lot of eggs in there, and if it starts to curdle, it goes a bit like scrambled egg, just put some flour in and it'll settle things down. In with the juices, the rind, and then in with the flour, a bit at a time, not too much, a little bit here, a little bit there, let it mix up and put a bit more in. And when that's all blended, it's in with the soaked dried fruit. I'll tell you what, this stuff smells lovely. You want to get this in fairly quickly, we don't want to over mix it. Right then, we're nearly there. Spoon your lovely cake mix into the tin, but be careful with the first dollop or two. You don't want to disturb the paper, just push it down gently. Get it in there, push it to the corners. Top the tin up, scrape the bowl out like you used to with your mother. Yeah, get it in there, press it down, get it into all the corners, all the nooks and crannies. You don't want air pockets in there. Nice pretty pattern on the top. Spirals with a fork, that'll do. And when you're happy, in the oven, 130 Celsius, 4 to 4.5 hours. But about halfway through, take it out. If you're happy with the colour of the top, put a bit of foil over it and then back in the oven for the remainder. It just stops the top from going too brown. One thing worse than a soggy bottom is a brown top. Okay then, here we are, 4 hours are done. Out onto a cooling rack. And prod the cake with a skewer. I'm using a bamboo skewer for this one. If it comes out nice and clean and dry and not sticky, the cake is cooked. And place the piece of foil back over the top just to let the cake cool down properly, and this does take a good few hours to cool down. Okay, it's cooled down nicely now. Being a rather, how should we put it, solid cake, not a sponge, a bit tight to get out of the old cake tin. So place it onto a container and push down hard. Pop the cake off the base of the tin and skewer it. Very therapeutic this, poking holes in a cake. What we're trying to do here is give some access points for the brandy we're going to pour on. Pour the brandy on every 2 weeks, about a tablespoon, 2 tablespoons. And then just rewrap the cake in some more greaseproof paper and foil. Fold it round nice and tight. You'll notice I've left the original greaseproof paper on. This helps the cake stay nice and moist, stops it drying out on the shelf. And speaking of shelves, just put it somewhere nice, dry, cool and dark. And refeed it every couple of weeks. And about 2 weeks before Christmas we ice the cake, and that will be in a future video.